Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with another video for you guys, and today's video is going to be on a bit of a more serious note. So today's video, as you can probably see from the title, is going to be all about anxiety and dealing with panic attacks, because in one of my recent Q&As I briefly mentioned that I suffer with anxiety and depression, and I have done since I've been the age 14. I think that even a bit younger than that, again, like even 13, 12, like I was very anxious in certain like situations and scenarios and things. So a lot of you guys were really interested for me to do like a whole video about anxiety and stuff, so I'm going to be doing that for you guys today. And I thought that I would ask you guys to ask me any questions you have on Twitter, and you guys did, so I'm going to be answering some of them questions, and I'm just going to talk a bit about it with you guys today, and hopefully if it'll just help one of you guys out there, then my job is done and I'm happy. Let's just get right on into the video and have a little chat. Okay, so I actually went onto Google and I just took down the definition of anxiety for any of you guys watching that don't actually know what anxiety is, because a lot of people don't actually know what it is, but like in fact like every single person in this world has anxiety of some sort of another, whether it be very mild anxiety or whether it be really severe anxiety, which it makes a struggle for their everyday to-day lives. Okay, so I just wrote out what it says anxiety is, and I'm just going to read that to you guys. So anxiety is a feeling of worry, nervousness or unease about something with an uncertain outcome. And then like feelings that come along with that is like worry, concern, apprehension, uneasiness, unease, fearfulness, agitation, nerves, edginess, tension, stress and suspense. Mild anxiety would be things like getting really anxious before a test and worried and like stressed about it, or like, you know, little things like that you wouldn't even really know as anxiety, because it could just be something that happens to everybody and you're going to get worried about it, you're going to get stressed about it, you're going to get uneasy, and you're going to, you know what I mean. When people actually suffer with anxiety, it's like our brains or whatever, like it just creates these situations that don't actually exist, and they make us overthink this situation 100 million times and like go through every scenario in our head and always think that the worst thing is going to happen, if you know what I mean. Okay, so the first question someone asked me was, what situations make you feel the most anxious? Okay, so for me, the situations that make me feel the most anxious would be new situations and leading up to new situations. So just say if I am going somewhere that is completely new. So for example, just say like when I was going over to Amsterdam with Melanie, like that was a completely new situation. I hadn't flown on a plane in years. I was going to Amsterdam, meeting all these people I've never met that I don't know. Like for absolutely ages before that actually happened, I was so anxious about it, constantly thinking about it, thinking everything's going to go wrong, and like just anything that's brand new to me, like that is so new, and it's it makes me so sick to my stomach, like really sick. Okay, so like meeting new people or being introduced to people that I haven't met. So for example, like I do have to build myself up so much if I'm going somewhere where I'm meeting new people, and especially before I actually go and walk into the situation. Like when I walk into that room or whatever where there's loads of new people, like I can't look at anybody, like I can literally just look at the ground or literally have to keep on focusing on my breathing, because like I can feel like in my stomach, like my chest starts to get really tight. Like I really struggle with meeting new people in general. Okay, so another thing that would make me really anxious is like my fears and my phobias. So like I have extreme fear and phobias of needles, spiders, and then another one would be hospitals. Like them three things make me so anxious, and like them three things give me panic attacks like really bad. I have to associate with any of them three things, or anything, like people that know me would let you know this, like that I am just an absolute mess. Like I've had so many panic attacks about them three things in my life, and like horrible panic attacks. Like I actually feel like I'm gone insane. Okay, so somebody asked me the question of, when everything feels like it's too much, what do you do to cope and get through it? Okay, so things that I will do when I feel like everything's getting too much, things that help me cope to get through that do be things like, okay, so I will take a time out, like take a break from myself. I will put on some really relaxing music, some calming music, or like listening to like sounds, like you can get them all on YouTube, of like, you know, like water or the rain or the beach or like the wind or like, you know, all them kind of sounds. Or I will either go for a walk while I do that. It just gives me a bit of space to clear my mind and like breathe. Take really deep breaths. So I will like breathe in for 10 seconds and I will breathe out for 10 seconds, and I will keep repeating this. And when I'm breathing, I will like, all I will concentrate is counting and then feeling the breaths coming into my stomach, and then feeling me releasing the breath and letting my breath go out. That is something that I have found that has helped me a lot. Like, just focusing on your breathing and clear your mind of everything else, and don't focus on anything else apart from you breathing in that breath and then breathing it out 10 seconds later. It is so calming, and it really does help when you're feeling really anxious and you feel like you can't get through or cope. Okay, so I will either have a shower or a bath, because whenever I have a shower or a bath, I always feel so much better getting out of it than I did getting in, regardless of what is going on. It always helps me feel a bit better in myself, and you know, I feel like I'm washing away like all the stress and all like my tension and all. And another thing that I will always do as well when I feel like everything gets too much is I will change my bed sheets, and I will put on fresh new bed sheets, and this works absolutely wonders. It makes you feel so much better. You feel like fresh, you know, you feel like out with the old, in with the new. I know it's such a little thing, but it's something that helps me a lot, and I do it quite regularly because it helps when I feel like everything's too much for me. And another thing is I will put on like fresh pajamas or whatever, you know, if I'm at home, and fluffy socks. Like, I will just like do all the things that bring comfort to me and make me feel safe, you know what I mean? Another thing I will do is exercise. So I said I might go for a walk, but that would be like, you know, a relaxing walk with my music. But another thing I might do is I will go on like a really intense walk where, you know, I will walk to a certain stage in where I live, and then I will go for a bit of a run, and then I'll walk, and then so on. Exercise helps so much because it releases certain endorphins which make you feel good, and that has been scientifically proven. Someone asked me, what's the best thing to help you calm down? Okay, so I feel like I just answered this kind of, but not really. So I'm just gonna like run through a list of things that'll calm me down really quickly. Having a bath, music, essential oils, like my dog, she makes me calm down so much, cuddling up with her or just playing with her. Fresh sheets, a hot drink, so like a hot chocolate or a tea or something is really comforting, and talking to a friend. And then also another great one is like hugging someone, because like when you get like that close connection with another human being, it actually makes you feel so much better even though you don't realize it. Okay, so someone asked me, do you vent or talk about your anxiety to help manage it, or let it build up inside you? Okay, so this is actually a really good question, because it completely depends on time in my life and what is going on, because I have a tendency to do one extreme or the other. So I'm either going to be all for one or all for the other. So I'm either going to talk about it completely, I'm going to talk about it, all of it, like to one person or whatever, or else I'm just going to say not a word, not a thing. I'm going to act like everything's okay, and I'm going to keep it all bottled up, which is something that I'm still trying to learn that I need to stop doing, because it is so bad for you, and you don't realize until that one tiny little thing happens and you just explode and you absolutely lose your shit. Like, you just go crazy, and that is from letting things build up inside you and not letting them out and not talking about it. It has such a negative effect on you, and I really need to learn to start doing that all the time. Okay, so someone asked me, how do you deal with a panic attack alone in public, or an anxiety attack? The deep breathing thing, first of all, I use so much, right? So I will breathe in for 10 seconds and breathe out for 10 seconds, like I was saying, and just really focus on feeling the breaths coming into my stomach and then releasing them back out. That really does help me, because you're just putting all your concentration onto one thing. Another thing I will do is I will remove myself from the situation or from the person, whichever or is making me anxious. So if I'm in public, I might go to like a public bathroom, or I might just like, you know, go somewhere that's quiet where there's not really any people around, or politely get away from the person that's making me feel anxious. Another thing that helps me so much is I have a screenshot on my phone. It's something I seen on Instagram quite a while ago, and I'm just gonna like read it to you guys now because I keep it on my phone and I look at this anytime I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack in public or even at home. It is so amazing, and I always like keep it really handy to get. So it actually says tip to help with an anxiety attack. Okay, so it says look around you, find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Okay, so this is called grounding. It can help when you feel like you've lost all control of your surroundings. And this has actually helped me so much because you're bringing your mind back down to reality, and you're just taking a minute and you're not thinking about, you know, whatever's making you anxious or the situation or whatever. You're just trying to focus on, you're just trying to find these 5 things you can touch, these 4 things you can smell, whatever, you know what I mean? And it really does like ground you, and it has helped me so much. So I would really recommend that. I'd say it's just on the internet if you just look it up. Okay, another thing I've been really trying to do now is, so if I'm having a panic attack, I will try to visualize the positive outcome. So try to start thinking positively, which I know is very hard and it takes a lot of time to like train yourself to do that. So whatever's making me feel anxious, I will try to keep talking to myself, just saying the same thing over, that it's going to be okay, that, you know, the opposite effect. So the positive thing's going to happen, and whatever that is, I'll just keep repeating that in my head, until like is calm me down, because until I've told myself this so many times that I believe it, you know what I mean? Okay, so somebody asked me, what are your go-to comfort things? Food, movies, music, cuddly toys, etc. Okay, so my go-to comfort things, like when I'm feeling really anxious or whatever, would be, so it would be like chocolate, like cream eggs, any kind of cake. I just love cake, it's so comforting. Or just like a Dairy Milk Mint crisp bar. Movies would be like The Notebook or The Titanic. Like they're so comforting, them movies to me. I've watched them so many times and they bring back a lot of memories of certain times when I watched them a lot. Or either something Disney, because Disney movies like always make me feel better, make me feel like a child again and that everything's going to be okay. And then music, a lot of the time I will listen to like that soothing music on YouTube, so like of certain sounds of the ocean or the rain or the wind or whatever. But if I'm not listening to that, I will normally put on one of my favourite like singers or someone like Lana Del Rey or someone, and just relax and breathe. Like I'll normally put on like more chilled out music than, you know, real do kind of music. And then cuddly toys would 100% be my dog, like my little lady. She's everything. I cuddle her all the time whenever I'm feeling any way, happy, sad, angry, anxious, depressed, emotional. She is my cuddle buddy, and that is never going to change. Okay, so someone asked me, what methods do you use to deal with anxiety? Okay, so exercise, because it releases endorphins. Okay, so there was this definition online, and it says physical activity improves the immune system, releases endorphins, tires the muscle, and burns away stress hormones. So that just shows you like how much exercise will actually help you. So I drink herbal tea, so I drink chamomile. I don't drink it that much, but I've been trying to drink it more because it's actually meant to help you a lot. So positive thinking, and there are ways to help you to train yourself into thinking positive, and they would be things like faking positivity until you believe it, like I said, writing in like a positivity journal, so writing down all the things you're grateful for like every day or whenever. This can help so much. I've started doing this as well, and it's actually amazing. I would really recommend it, guys. And then spending time with more positive people. This is a massive one, because you actually don't realise how much the people you spend time with affect your mood and how you feel. Being around negative people is going to rub off on you and make you negative and make you feel so negative, even though you won't realise it. So I've also been trying to like cut out a lot of negative people out of my life in the last few months, and I have definitely seen a benefit from it. Okay, and another thing is you need to just learn to accept it, and so you're just going to have to accept it rather than run away from it, because anxiety is something that is not going to go away, and there is no magical like cure for it or whatever. Like, it is part of who you are, and you're just going to have to learn how to deal with it and love yourself for it, because there's nothing you can do about it. Like, a lot of people actually fear anxiety, but like if you are actually fearing about having anxiety, that will actually make your anxiety so much worse. Whereas if you just learn to accept it and like be like, this is okay, you know, I can deal with this, I can get through this, everything's gonna be okay. You're facing anxiety and you're not saying I'm scared of you, so it won't make your anxiety worse at all, and it will just improve things for you. And this is for myself as well, like we need to learn how to talk about it openly and don't try to hide it when you're suffering, because when you're suffering is when talking is going to be the most beneficial to you and when it's going to do you the world of good. So I think all of us together like need to like start being so much better at talking about it when we are suffering with it, instead of keeping all that emotion like trying to get out of us, like let me out. Someone also asked me, how do you get the will to leave the house when you're feeling very anxious and want to stay in bed? All them things that I kind of talked about. So I'd like have a bath or a shower. Another thing I will do is I make myself feel better. So any little things that make myself feel better, I'll put on my makeup, I'll put on fresh clothes after my shower, you know, I'll tidy up my room a bit. I'll do all things that make me feel better in myself, so the thought of having to get up and go out isn't as daunting as it seems, you know what I mean? Things like I said before as well, I'll try to get into a positive mindset. I will try to talk to someone like before I leave the house or whatever and get some encouragement, because talking to someone is so important and they can really give you like the encouragement you need and like, you know, give you that like, go on, like you've got this, like you can do it, like just give you that little push you need to get through the day. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I really hope that this was helpful for some of you guys. If any of you have any tips or anything for dealing with anxiety, please leave them in the comments, because it would help a lot of people, I think, and even me. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe down below if you haven't already, guys, please. And I will see you guys in Friday's video at 5 p.m. Bye bye.